good? I am so excited to deliver this show for you tonight. And that is because I have always been a fan of Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire series, from the movie to the new series you can watch on AMC Plus. The first two seasons I thought were just so intriguing, the amount of emotion that they uh, compelled the characters to exude throughout those first two seasons, where we follow Louis in New Orleans. And now we have the third season, which is the Vampire Lestat. And this show is basically following him and his band on their tour cross country to create some sort of immortal, fascinating last album. I've been watching the show, but I haven't conducted a review until this episode, which is episode 5, New York. I am so excited to give my thoughts on this episode because a very, very special character finally made her entrance on front stage in this show. And I've been waiting so long to see her portrayed by someone again. The last person to portray Queen Akasha was Aaliyah, and there's no one else like her.
I think everyone has a bit of a fascination with the dark side, and it's fun to go to the movies and escape and really get deep into the whole fantastical characters. And I myself have always loved the dark side as well, so I think it's something that everyone secretly longs for and wants.
Right. But I have to give the new actress credit in this show because she really added something to the character and revealed an angle of her character that I think wasn't truly discovered before. So you know what? I'm going to get right into it and give you my review of The Vampire Lestat, episode 5. Let's go!
When we are ready!
Today, we are diving into The Vampire Lestat, episode 5. This episode is much quieter than some of the previous ones, but don't mistake that for a lack of importance. In many ways, this is one of the most significant episodes of the season because it begins shifting the story away from Lestat's rise as a rock star and toward the ancient mythology that has always been lurking in the background. What makes this episode so fascinating to me is that it balances two completely different stories. On one side, we have Lestat trying to become the greatest musician in the world, and on the other, we begin to understand that there are forces far older and far more powerful than him, and those forces are finally beginning to awaken. Now, let's break everything down. Everything down, okay? This episode opens in New York as Lestat and his band continue working on their debut album. Right away, you can tell that this isn't just another recording session. Lestat approaches music in the same way he approaches immortality, with complete obsession. Nothing is ever good enough for him. If a performance lacks emotion, he'll demand another take. If someone isn't completely committed, he becomes extremely frustrated. His perfectionism begins wearing everyone around him down. The people in the studio admire his talent, but they also realize that working with him means accepting impossible standards, like...
Your drum sounds like a drum.
That's because it's a drum.
The drums can't sound like a drum.
Okay. What do you want it to sound like then?
It has to sound like death approaching.
Oh my God.
Like life emerging.
Like, yeah, cool. Like life and death.
Death, then life.
How can you work with that, right? What's interesting here is that Lestat isn't chasing fame simply because he wants to be famous. Fame has become another way for him to challenge the world. Throughout his immortal life, he's hidden in the shadows, forced to keep his true identity secret. Music gives him an opportunity to do something almost unheard of for vampires. Stand in front of millions of people while practically daring anyone to discover what he truly is. It's reckless, Some may say it's arrogant. And that's exactly why it feels so perfectly Lestat, right? The series has always portrayed him as someone who refuses to accept limitations. Humans tell him to hide, so he refuses. Vampires tell him to stay secret, so he becomes a celebrity instead. His entire career feels like an act of rebellion. Meanwhile, the episode cuts away to Louis in the present time. These scenes are much quieter, I noticed, but they accomplish something important. Think about this. Louis opens up about one of his personal guilty pleasures, giving us another reminder that immortality isn't made up entirely of violence and tragedy. Even after centuries of existence, vampires still search for ordinary moments that make them feel connected to life. Kind of sounds like us, right? It's a small conversation, but moments like these help humanize characters who could otherwise seem almost godlike. Daniel Malloy also has an interesting role in this episode. He receives an unexpected gift that raises even more questions about his relationship with Louis and the larger vampire world. Daniel has always been the outsider, the journalist trying to understand creatures that operate according to rules he barely comprehends. As the story progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that Daniel isn't simply documenting history anymore. He's actually becoming a part of it, and that is interesting to see in real time. Then the episode shifts gears completely, switches. This is where we leave behind the recording studios and modern day conversations and enter one of the oldest mysteries in Anne Rice's mythology. Lestat travels with Marius. Marius has always been one of the most mysterious vampires in the series. He possesses knowledge that few others have. And unlike many immortals, he understands where the vampire civilization truly began. He leads Lestat to a hidden sanctuary, unlike anything we've seen before, like some sort of ancient dungeon. Inside are two ancient figures who appear almost like statues. Ring a bell? These are not ordinary vampires. They are Akasha and Enkel, the king and queen of the damned, the first vampires. And you know what? What's so interesting about that in particular is even in the original Queen of the Damned film, love Aaliyah, love Queen Akasha, the way that they show her power and how she essentially is allured by Lestat's music has always been fascinating to me. That music can awaken an ancient power or an ancient interest. I've always felt that that's somewhat romantic, but frightening all at the same time, which is what Queen Akasha is. However, though, one thing I've always noticed is that the two statues is King Enkel and Queen Akasha. King Enkel is her black king. But he's always like nowhere to be found. He stays a statue as Queen Akasha is awoken by music to be a part of Anne Rice's universe, right? And in this episode, they showed King Enkel's head bashed in the back. And I believe it was his right foot cut off. And Lestat asked Marius, well, what happened to him? And, you know, I was so pissed off, to be honest with you, that I didn't really hear what Marius said. Oh, man, I was so pissed when I saw that. Because Queen Akasha is preserved, but King Enkel isn't, and he happens to be the black king, the black male king. And you know what I was thinking.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
All right. So that it's something that just always pisses me off. It's like it's like y'all know what I'm thinking. But let's move on. The source from which every other vampire ultimately descends are these two vampires. Now, the atmosphere during this sequence is incredible. Everything feels so ancient, sacred, and timeless. There isn't much action in this episode, but there doesn't really need to be, in my opinion. The weight of history hangs over every single moment. You immediately understand that Lestat is standing in the presence of beings who exist back thousands of years. Then something unexpected happens. A single drop of Lestat's blood reaches Akasha. It seems significant at first, or rather, it seems insignificant at first. Significant to me. But that tiny drop changes everything. Akasha awakens. The scene doesn't play out like a traditional horror sequence at all. Instead, it's strangely intimate. She slowly becomes aware, almost as though she's been dreaming for centuries. Then she feeds Lestat her own blood. This is an enormously important moment. In Anne Rice's mythology, receiving the blood of an ancient vampire dramatically increases another vampire's strength and deepens the connection between them. Lestat leaves this encounter changed. He's more powerful than ever, and watching him like float in the air and sort of like not really comprehending the power he's received was thrilling to watch. But the thing is, power always comes with consequences. The exchange isn't simply about physical strength, it's almost spiritual in nature as well. Akasha chose him. Whether Lestat fully understands what that means is another question entirely. One of the things I appreciate about this episode is that it refuses to portray Akasha as simply just a monster. Yes, she's powerful. Yes, she is terrifying. But also, she's deeply perplexed. She was almost downloading information as she awoke from the dead.
When will it stop, and who will stop it?
She's ancient enough to have watched civilizations rise and collapse. She has witnessed humanity repeating the same mistakes over and over again. That is the impression that the audience received when we watched her download information and comprehend exactly when and where she was. It was like her perspective of humanity is that it is truly broken. Perhaps she genuinely believes that only someone like her can reshape the world. But see, that's what makes great villains or anti-villains. They're not just simply evil, right? And they just enjoy destruction. They believe they're right. That's what makes it more interesting. Then the series seems to be setting up something exactly that we want, which is this conclusive conflict. As the episode reaches its conclusion, we're left with two completely different futures moving forward. Lestat continues building his music career. His fame grows. His influence expands. And all of that is breaking all the rules, right? But at the same time, Akasha, Queen Akasha, has awakened. Her interest in Lestat is no coincidence. You can already feel that these two storylines are destined to collide at some point. Music has awakened something far older than celebrity. And I wonder if Lestat understands that. Because it looks as though it has awakened history itself. This also creates an interesting contrast between Lestat's personality and Akasha's. Lestat, you see, he seeks freedom. Akasha, she seeks control. Lestat wants the world to see him with no constrictions. Akasha wants to remake the world entirely. We don't know if the world deserves that. Maybe it does. But that's her goal. And these goals may appear compatible now, but eventually, one of them is going to have to give. Overall, I think episode 5 works because it's willing to slow down and invest in mythology rather than non-stop action. Not every episode needs massive battles or shocking deaths. Sometimes, the most important episodes are the ones that quietly move the chess pieces into place before everything explodes later. This episode expands the universe in a meaningful way, introduces one of the franchise's most legendary characters, and gives us a glimpse of conflicts that could reshape everything we've seen so far. By the end, it feels less like the conclusion of a single episode and more like the opening chapter of a much larger story. So, those are my thoughts on the Vampire Lestat, episode 5, New York. Did you enjoy the slower, mythology-heavy approach, or were you hoping for more action? Do you think Akasha is truly the villain of the story, or is she simply someone whose perspective has been shaped by thousands of years of watching humanity fail? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would so love to hear what you got to say about the episode, and if you enjoyed it like I did, seeing her rise and ask herself questions was a big deal to me subliminally, because she reaches a conclusion that she believes she's God and that she has the answers. So, of course, she would have to ask herself those questions, right? She wouldn't have anyone else to ask because she is the highest. So she would naturally ask herself that question. And then when she gets to the end of her very powerful monologue, she just says it, I am the answer. That could be devastating for the world because we are all faulty. We all have, aspects about ourselves that are problematic. And the world reflects us in that way, I believe. So if there was a real Queen Akasha or King Inkle, then would we all deserve the change? Would we all deserve the destruction that's awaiting the world? Or is Queen Akasha the true villain of reality itself? And what was with the date that she whispered into Lestat's mind? She said 2030. What was that date about? Another thing I'm curious about is we've always viewed Queen Akasha through the lens of the vampire Lestat throughout Anne Rice's interview with the Vampire series. But is it just me, or do you think it's more interesting if we just started with the Queen Akasha story? Like start from the very beginning of her story with King Inkle and explore how exactly she became Queen Akasha and received her powers. How is she the mother of all vampires? And what took place during those times, thousands upon thousands of years in Egypt? That's a story I want to see. That's a trilogy I want to watch while eating some popcorn in the theater, because that's what I'm interested in. Oh, man. I love Anne Rice's story so much, and hopefully any of you who's watching love them as well. And hopefully you guys are having a great time watching The Vampire Lestat like I am. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed my review of episode 5. And remember, we cover a lot of horror here. We cover a lot of dark content here. But just like in real life, no matter how dark it gets, where there's darkness, there are stars. Remember that. This is the author Lake Sevens in a Dark Lake edit. Let's go.
His name was Enkill. In 1802, finished the job transporting them from one crypt to another. I woke up next to her, my body afire. Hadn't finished the job.
What do you mean by that?
That's suspicious. That's weird.